Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is Aussieverse, and we are back, baby. Tonight, we are joined by a very special friend of the channel. He's been here a few times. He's come back again today. You may have heard of Diamond Publishing. You may have heard of Penguin Random House. What about Luna? And there's a few others, but guess who's taken over? Guess who's going to be the man? Guess whose company you're going to be hearing a lot of in the future? He's here to talk about his distribution. He's here to talk about 2 Kickstarters that are coming. It is the one, it is the only, ladies and gentlemen, Phillip Russertt from Philbo Publishing.
Dude, you're making me laugh. Killing me. My ribs.
For those that are wondering why there's only a head on the screen, he's had a recent injury and he's got a few sore ribs. So please don't make him laugh. Let's make him cry instead.
Yeah, 2 cracked ribs. How are you? I always appreciate being on this show with you guys. You're great guys. How are you?
Hi,
Claudia.
So
that was a hell of an introduction. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, mate. Always try. Okay, so we're here. What do you want to talk about first, Phil?
Whatever you want. There's a lot. Long story short, Claudia, a car almost hit me. I swerved my bike, and I didn't want to take my wife out, so I hit the ground, got a concussion, 2 cracked ribs, and road rash. But I'll be fine as long as they don't make me laugh.
He's a man.
But thank you for asking.
Okay, we are proudly sponsored by Comic Bookaroo, a word from them very shortly. But in the meantime, let's say g'day to our 4 lifers. These are our paid members that make Aussieverse that much more special. It gets them into an Instagram chat. It gets them their own gifts. It even gets them on some of the live shows. If that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, click the link and join the 4 lifers now. If you want to subscribe to Aussieverse and not spend $1, then do that too, because we want your support and we want this community to grow. All right, now, one more. Claudia, stop talking. We're trying to get on with this.
Thank you, Claudia. I appreciate you.
We have two Kickstarters to talk about here. We have one called Shaman, Chapter 1 of 5, and then we also have a manga-inspired looking Kickstarter, which is Vanilla Land. So let's have a look first at Shaman. Now, Phil, actually, I'll ask that in a moment. Let's take a look at this first. Wow, totally done the music as well. That was cool, man.
Yeah, shout out to Let's Do This for the trailer.
So this has 26 days to go. It's very close to its very small pledge goal. So it's not going to be hard for that to get there. Let's go through it.
Yeah, the book is already made, just so you know. So it's already made. That's why the goal is low. I always believe the money is going to be what it's going to be, whether I put it at a 2,000 goal or a 500 goal, but I'd rather fund and get something than in case I don't fund and get nothing. So, so Shaman was originally a graphic novel, just like Papa, because of the pacing and the storytelling, but, you know, things are expensive. So doing a chapter at a time. So basically, Samuel Boone is a 24-year-old son of a minister, a Baptist minister, and he's extremely powerful, telekinetic and telepathic. and his father really puts a lot of pressure on him because of his healing abilities. Like basically, for example, he'll use his telekinesis to take drugs out of the system of someone through their pores, and then telepathy to restructure their brain that they're no longer codependent in their personality. And he's healing people with diabetes and cancer. He's breaking up tumors telekinetically and then pulling them out in small pieces. And then, so he's doing all these amazing things and healing these people. And they're treating him like this modern day Jesus. And he's hey, Byron, he's only a 24-year-old kid with all this pressure on him. And, he feels it. And his father is living vicariously through him, pushing him hard to do this. So this pharmaceutical company is losing like 97% of its business in Alabama, and they find out why, because it's all over the news. And they do dealings with the Mexican cartel with their fentanyl and OxyContin and all these things. And they say, look, we can't lose this profitability, and what if it spreads? So we need you to take care of this, and we can't be involved. You gotta get it done. So the Mexican cartel comes after him. And it always frustrates me when stories like, you and I, we may be able to get into a fist fight and do it right in the street, but if we're fighting like professional killers, we don't stand a freaking chance, right? So I know this kid's telekinetic and telepathic, but he's never used them offensively. He's scared. He's on the run and alone, and major killers are after him. So his youth and his inexperience play a lot. As well as they get him with a sedative that he pulls out in time, but it dampens his powers. But anyway, there's twists and turns in this. There's some really heartfelt, emotional moments that people really, really loved in the other upcoming chapters. But it's action packed. The first issue is exposition and setup, but man, it gets moving from issue 2 on, especially, and it starts off with him on a rooftop like that. And you're going to go through the series of events that eventually catch you up to that again, to explain what happened. And then there's a shocking surprise ending to this story. And I've been told this and Papa are actually my best writing to date. And I really appreciate those compliments.
So where did you get this idea from?
I don't know.
Because you know what I think of straight away? I think of John Travolta Phenomenon.
I never saw it.
A little bit. You never saw it?
No, I've never seen it. I didn't know about it.
So it doesn't have the action or the violence or the, I guess, excitement that this comic is showing, but it's about a guy that has telekinetic powers all of a sudden. And yeah, I don't know why. It just reminded me of that thing just briefly. But yeah, I just thought
of the healing part of it. I was like, nobody's ever done a character with telekinesis and telepathy where they actually become a healer or do something like that, like using it in different ways, That
is true. That is true. Yeah, I really like this. That really sums it up to me.
Yeah, and I have to say, Ruli Akbar is the artist, and he does a wonderful job of facial expressions and body language to really convey what's going on. And I'm very happy to be working with him. And Fabio da Silva Bandras is the colorist, and George Medina is the letterer. I always get credit for stuff, but my expertise is surrounding myself with the really talented people who make it, create it and bring it to life.
Is this the first time you're working with this
story? Oh, sorry, Sharif.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying, is this the first time you're working with this team?
George Medina lettered Arcane Syndicate for me, and he's lettering Papa. But this is my first time working with Ruli Akbar, and Fabio has done colors for me before.
What fascinates me about this story is this concept. Where on the news it says modern day Jesus in Alabama, because we know that if this happened in real life, this would be a huge news all over the world, and the impact that this would have with religious people, with non-religious people, with just anybody. It would be huge, you know. Even people like myself that don't pay any attention to the news, if all of a sudden there was somebody that was labeled the modern day Jesus, you bet your ass we'll be following the news and going, what's going on here?
Yeah, and you know, it's a story that talks about the pressures put on this kid's shoulders that he never asked for. He was born with these abilities, doesn't know why, and you know, the pressures put on him from his father, his own pressures of wanting to be what people need him to be. I mean, who at 24 really knew who they were yet, you know? And he's been thrust into this position, and it's all he knows. And as much as it's exhausting for him, and he doesn't want to disappoint anybody and let anybody down, you know? And I wish I could tell you some of the things that are going to be coming up, because they're so, I was like really proud of them, moments that happen. And yeah, I think you guys know me by now. I like the human side of things, you know, and I love the action. It's comic books, but if you're not relating to the protagonist, then why do you care what the stakes are?
Yep. I'm just making sure we do have, yeah, we do. Okay. So the links for both of these Kickstarters are in the description. So go check it out. Let's go through what you can get with this. So for those, obviously we always talk about the difference between US and Australian pricing. So the reason why I bring that up is because if you're worried about that, the cheapest way is $8 digital copy. It's pretty good. Next up, you can get a $10 newsprint copy. What's the difference between a newsprint copy and a physical copy?
So the newsprint is basically like old comics from the 80s and 70s. It's printed on a newsprint paper, where the physical copy is digital, like the modern comics that we have, that glossy digital paper. But, you know, I started this with Papa. When I saw that my printer does newsprint, I was like, I'm a nostalgic kind of guy, and Papa is a Silver Age type story. And I thought it would be cool to offer it as an option. And then I was like, you know what? It's making a comeback, I think, and I'll be the first. You'll hear it from me first. I think newsprint's making a comeback for various reasons, between price point and nostalgia. I mean, comics, everything's cyclical, and I think it's coming back around. And you know, maybe I'll be a pioneer of some kind.
So $10 for the newsprint or $15 for the physical. Or you can get the Keith Williams cover for $15.
And Keith Williams was the inker on for John Byrne. He did Web of Spider-Man. He did Alpha Flight. He did Adam Warlock. He, you know, so he's a good friend. He's a friend of mine, and he's a major inker in the industry for many years. He was one of the Romita Raiders, John Romita. So. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. There's also a sketch cover, $10 each, or $5 for $40. That's pretty cool. I really dig the logo.
Yeah, you know, Robert Powers does all my logos, and I'm telling you, he literally nails them within one try, maybe a second try with a minor tweak. And I absolutely loved what he did with Shaman for me. All I do is give him the synopsis, and boom, he comes up with, I mean, he's done all my logos.
Yeah, I really dig it. I don't like the blank covers that, I mean, sometimes it's not their fault because, you know, some logos are just very, very simple. But I don't know, I like where it has a bit more of a background to it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if you've got a Spider-Man or a Superman one, it'll just literally just say Spider-Man or Superman, because that is the way the comics look, minus the art on the cover. $20 newsprint duo. Look at that. You can get Shaman and Popper. And for those that don't know what Popper is, go check out the playlist where Phil was on last time and we spoke about this beautiful, beautiful book. Don't take my word for it. Go check it out. Triple Threat, $35. That's pretty good too, actually. That's a pretty good price. $50 newsprint pack that gets you not only Popper, but other Philbo comics, Arcane Syndicate, and Withered, I've read. I love them. Dynamics, I have yet to read, but I'm sure I will love that too.
Phil, does this mean that apart from Shaman and Papa, the other three are going back to print, but in newsprint?
Yes, they will be first printings in newsprint.
Nice.
$60 all in.
It's like a family. It's basically, these three titles are very family friendly for all ages. So I put them in a thing. If anybody you want to get your kids into reading comics, or, some people are tired of the boys and like the really heavy, nasty stuff. So this was a pack that could give you that.
And if you're like me and you like add-ons, then this is the section for you. If you just get the book itself, Shaman, then you can also add $15 Popper Chapter 1.
And that would be the modern digital copy, with the gloss pages and everything.
$10 the Dynamics, which is about a family of superheroes. Withered, which is just amazing. I love this book.
Thank
I love
you.
this book. This is really, really cool. If you love all the demons and angels and all that sort of stuff, then Withered is definitely.
I forgive me if this. I don't mean this to be braggadocious, but I was really proud of the premise of Withered, because I don't think anybody's ever done it before, where time is not a construct of the human mind or a measurement. It is actually this omnipotent, malevolent being that has imprisoned God, and that's why life is so hard. God is not in charge. And making time this actual omnipotent, malevolent villain, and the reason is it's slowly satiating itself off our life energies over 80, 90 years. So that's why we grow old, we wither, and we die.
I love it. I love it. And the other one that I love is also Arcane Syndicate. Can you imagine a team of people that's Frankenstein, vampires, werewolves, invisible men, mummies, and more, all on the same team working for the government? That's mad. That's actually my first foot into Philbo Publishing, Arcane Syndicate.
And it's number 2 is coming out in the fall around Halloween, and people have raved and loved this book, and I'm having fun with it. Imagine they're eventually going to face the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They're going to face the 7 deadly sins. They're going after, it's going to be just all out freaking monster mash and demon fun. It's just going to be awesome.
And then we meet the team, Mr. Phil Russertt
Look at
himself.
that handsome man 60 pounds ago.
Fabio Banderas, I'm assuming.
Yes, he's the colorist.
And then we have Jorge Medina.
Yeah, Ruli never sent me his bio, so tough shit. I asked him 15 times. I can only ask you so many times, and I got to launch the campaign.
There we go, Shaman. So how long has this one been in the works?
So I wrote the script, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and I wrote all 5 issues, as a graphic novel. But again, money is tough. I try to pay fairly to artists. I know money's tough, so I'd rather save up the money and pay an artist fairly than try to lowball an artist. I just don't feel right doing that. They got to make a living too, so it gets expensive. So when I couldn't really get enough money up for the full graphic novel, I said, the hell with it. Just do the chapter, just like I did with Papa, and we're going from there. But and it doesn't look like we're going to, because unfortunately I've been so busy with the distribution, I kind of neglected promoting this. If we were to get to the monetary value, the monetary amount that I needed to create the entire graphic novel, I will give everybody the entire graphic novel that pledged on this. Even if you only pledged $10 on a sketch cover, if we got to the goal of the money, I will just send everybody the damn graphic novel, the whole 5-chapter, 110-page book. I'm not trying to fleece people for money. I want you to read my stories and enjoy them. So
that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Same with Papa with chapter 2.
Go check it out. All right. Let's make our way to Vanilla Land.
This is Andrew Henry from Egypt. I'm publishing his book. This is his creation. He did the writing, him and his wife together, a couple comics. They did the writing, the animation, the artwork, everything. So I'm just the publisher at this point. I didn't have anything to do with the creation. And it looks like cells from an anime put on page. So it was really, really, really beautiful looking book, in my opinion. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Let's see how accurate he is.
散漫な輪になって単純なことになって賛成か反対かそれは何やってんの手と手を取り合ってワンツースリーで追い出していかんしょうは誰だいかんしょうは誰だ彼が求めたのはあの子が流したのは君が嘆いたのは何事もない日々を取り戻せそうかそうまではまた明日
Wow, that was cool. I like that music too.
Yeah, it's catchy, right?
Yeah. So this one has 19 days to go, and it's nearly at the goal as well.
And it looks like high octane action series.
Yeah, like how manga takes these outrageous, crazy ideas and makes them into something, right? And it just always seems to work. The one thing I really respect about manga is nobody in the Western world would take the chances that they do in manga. You're like Chainsaw Man, the guy's face is a freaking chainsaw. Do you think any Western publisher would pick that up? No. But look at how successful it was. So Vanilla Land, vanilla is used as fuel in this world, and spices and different foods. And the creator, he calls it his appetizer. That's like your weapon of choice. And he actually has a tier where you could get in the book with your own appetizer, your own weapon of choice. He creates a character of you. You can also make chibis of yourself. And when you're in the Western world, you're like, that sounds really stupid, but it works. Manga works. And manga people love it because it's outlandish, it's out there, but it's action packed, it's fun, it's adventure. And of course, with pure manga, it's got the character-driven stuff and the romance and all the other things going on, and the humor.
Well, there's a reason why manga is always a bigger seller than Western comics. And not only that, but when Sharif and I go through our FOCs every week and we see the different manga titles, and concepts, you're right. There are things in there that just looking at the surface, you go, what the hell is this?
Right.
I want to read this and see what is with this weird title. Not that Vanilla Land is, but people love it.
Yeah. Well, again, it's fresh, it's new, it's different. It's not the same old regurgitated crap. So.
Well, I think you can say that about all Philbo Publishing books, to be honest. I haven't seen anything that you've brought to us that seems like a copy of anything or similar to anything. I mean, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
First of all, we've got this cover with this, what a massive sword.
Hey, it's manga. You got to go big or go home, right?
That's true. That's true.
And you've got that vanilla flower there as well.
Vanilla flower?
Yeah.
In the logo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, good eye, Sharif.
Yeah, I was going to say I was impressed.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Say, look at that third panel where the guy's taking his mask off. It looks like a cell animation straight from an anime.
Yeah.
They did great work. And it's fun. There's action, and then there's humor, there's silly humor, of course, that manga throws in there, and there's like romance, but it's a lot of fun. I don't want to sound like a complainer, but everybody's into branding now, and they don't really want to give anything a chance until it becomes big, and then they jump on it after. hindsight sucks. Get on board now. You never know what's going to blow up, and you were on the ground floor, and even if it doesn't blow up, you might just really like it for a small amount of money, a small investment. You might walk away with a new title that you enjoy looking forward to. I mean, isn't that what we're doing? We just want to look forward to the books and enjoy reading them and get excited about them like when we were kids. I mean, isn't that really what it's about?
Yep. Bloody oath. I'm going to have a Philbo Publishing square eventually.
Well, I got a big box over here waiting.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know.
If I was able to send it ahead of time, I would. I just haven't been able to right now.
Oh, I know, buddy. I know.
If I get the chance, I will, though, and I'll let you know.
What's this? Big Win Ollie. I was looking at his tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm digging it, man. Looks really cool.
That guy is a main villain. I forget the names. I apologize. And he, in the first issue, and he creates this like electric tiger called how is it called? It's in one of the panels.
In a savage world ruled by ferocious monsters and strange machines that use vanilla as energy, where only the fittest survive, Jen Orchid roams the galaxy, encountering all kinds of problems in his path. Vanilla Land follows the journey of Jen, Rosa, and Altamaris, I think, in search of the location of the Jinn chef to fulfill their wishes. Altamaris wants to marry the Queen of Vanilla Land, and Rosa wishes to find the rest of her lost tribe. While Jen, damn it, he didn't tell me what he wanted.
Let's find out together.
There you go. Yeah, it's a shame to see this and Shaman kind of struggling. I didn't get to promote Shaman. Normally I'll have like 100, 150 followers. I only had 18. Now I think we're at 40. But Kickstarter, I think, is getting tougher for people who are trying to, push books for readers as opposed to collectors, like covers and things. But it's a shame that these two aren't doing better.
If it doesn't have boobs in it, it is a bit hard. I've noticed. Trust me. Let's look at the tiers.
You notice
who doesn't like a wanted poster? I do. Jen Orchid's printed poster.
And the issue, full issue number 1.
You can get a Jen Orchid printed poster and the character design concept prints from the first issue, plus the first full issue. Trophy Hunter. What's this? Turn yourself into a character from their universe with an appetizer weapon of your choice. Sharif, what would be your weapon?
Crossbow. It's
gotta be food oriented though. Like, for example, the one he made for me was like a toaster.
Cinnamon.
You just put cinnamon in people's eyes.
Sharif will lower everyone's blood sugar across the country.
Or you can be the small adventurer, which gets you everything before, but instead this time you can make a custom-made chibi specially for you. I'd like to get that one. I'd like to get that one.
You can make one of yourself. You can make one of any character you like. It can be anything you want the chibi to be.
Or you can get the Jin pack that has 3 copies of full issue number 1, character design concept prints from the first issue, the Jen Orchid printed poster, a printed map of the universe. They redraw you as a character with your own weapon and customized made chibi, 3 stickers of your choice, and a character stand risen keychain. I
think it's supposed to be resin, but he's from Egypt.
Resin? I knew I said it wrong. I knew I did.
No, he spelled it wrong. Ow.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I went, that doesn't sound right. Or you can build your own tier. That's something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, any 3 components from the above tiers with 2 copies of Vanilla Land. And there are 2 different covers, which in the survey after you will pick which covers you want. So, unless you're getting both.
Stretch goals. Oh, okay. We've got trading cards, we got postcards, we've got stickers and pages from the next issue. I'm all about those cards, mate.
And that's
And
Andrew
here's
Henry and his
the-
wife, Sarah, and their cats. And there's that handsome 60 pounds ago dude again.
There you go. Now, coming soon from Philbo Publishing is Light Warriors. This looks very valiant looking.
Yeah, this is Rodolfo from Brazil. Again, this is not a book that I created or wrote, but I'm publishing. I publish people from other countries that they can't do Kickstarter, and I do the Kickstarters for them, and I publish them and fulfill it and everything from the States. And Apollo is a guy who lives in the States, but he's the artist and writer and everything, but he asked me to publish it. And that it's a Superman archetype, but the story is totally different than anything. When he first told me about it, I was like, okay, another Superman archetype, whatever. I read the script and I loved it. It's sci-fi, superhero, war. I mean, take some sort of sci-fi military war thing, add a Superman archetype. It's just good. It was really surprisingly very good. And Apollo's coming soon as well. I have a Kickstarter every month.
Every month.
Oh, busy.
So we're going to be seeing you a bit then.
I love coming on and talking with you guys, whether it's just shooting the breeze about omnibuses or whatever. Even if it's not about me, I just like you guys are cool. So I'll be on anytime you want.
All right, excellent. Well, they're the two Kickstarters. Now let's. Oh, hang on, that was the wrong one. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now let's go into some Philbo distribution, shall we? You want to talk about that?
So a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I put Tragedy. I solicited to Diamond, and Diamond came back with a very weird response for refusing it, for rejecting it. Now I'm fine with rejection. It's not me like thinking my stuff is the greatest. There's no way they could reject it. The reasoning made no sense. They said you'd have to be 2 years ahead of schedule, which I know is not true. And when I talk to all the big name people I know that have Diamond accounts and they do stuff, they're like, that seems weird. No. And they went to bat for me and said, you should really pick up Tragedy. It's got major artists on there from Marvel DC. It's really well written. Peter David loved it. Howard Mackey loved it. Chuck Dixon loved it. You should check it out. And they blew it off. And then I started to hear some rumblings from people I know in the industry. And I had a feeling Diamond was going to go down. So I started accumulating every store in North America, Canada, United States, myself. I found a way to do it. It was very arduous. It was like 80 hours of work, staying up all night doing it. And meanwhile, now I have the entire Diamond list because it was released. So I have 27,000 locations or whatever. And I said, how many people did Diamond not give a chance because they gate-kept a lot? They would tell you, we don't think it's sellable, it's not marketable. And, and people felt strapped, like Kickstarter is their only way to go, And there's a lot of books that are on Kickstarter that just aren't getting enough eyes on them. But I think if they were in comic stores, they would probably do pretty well. So in an attempt to get readership back, I decided to start my own distribution company. I'm one of those people. That's why I started my own conventions. I became an art rep, a publisher. If I don't like the way things are going, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to do it the way I think it should be done. And if the way I'm doing it is a good way or the right way, then it'll succeed. And if it's not, well then, all right, I gave it a shot and we move on. But yeah, we got about 30 publishers on board right now. I didn't want to start too big, and like 50, 60 titles.
So does this mean Zenescope is only through Philbo now?
No, they're not going to be through the other distributors, but I do think that they're not exclusive through me. So I would assume if Lunar picks them up or somebody, they would probably go through them as well. But right now, they're through me.
Okay, that's really cool. I've been meaning to get. Sharif just recently got the Grim Fairy Tales omnibus, and I've been wanting to get that myself because it's always been a company that obviously we all like the covers for certain reasons, but it's always been a world that I've always wanted to get into because I like those. I like stories that are different takes on classic fantasies, and that's what Grimm is. And I never got into it because I felt I missed the boat and it was too late.
Right.
So I want to get those omnis.
I also have to say Zenescope has always taken great pride in getting quality art. You know, they've always been top notch with the art and their Grimm fairy tales and Robin Hood and all that stuff. So, and this is our digital previews catalog. We have more we're adding on. We're launching the catalog July 1st. So tell your local comic shop. Unfortunately, we can't go overseas yet, but if you're in the United States or Canada, tell your local comic shop you want to order these books so that they should sign up an account. We have a little over 300 stores signed up so far, and we've only announced like 4 weeks ago, and we only did the press release 2 weeks ago. Bleeding Cool's done 2 articles on us. Comics Beat did an article on us. Bleeding Fool did an article on us. And we have a press release out there in the world. So believe it or not, this has really caught fire more than I realized it would. And I'm very happy about that. I mean, it's a lot of work. You know, I'm not creating a lemonade stand on my lawn. This is distribution, traditional, true distribution. It's been a lot of work. It's well worth it. We got Antarctic Press on board, Zenescope. We got Billy Tucci through Crusade Entertainment. We've got Marat Michaels, Counterpoint Comics, and he has a Rob Liefeld variant cover for Pray for the Sinner.
Cocaine Kaiju.
Yeah, he has a T-shirt available for it right next to it too.
Oh wow!
And it sounds like all the hard work is starting to pay off, Phil.
You know, I hope so. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but comic stores are nervous. You know, a lot of them are struggling and they don't like to take risks. And I do think that that's a mistake. Just because these aren't big names, you know, how much is Marvel and DC really helping you right now? I mean, are they really your bread and butter at this point? Are you really selling that many issues that you can't just take a chance on a few of these independents that might actually do well? You never know what's going to be the next Something is Killing the Children or Vanilla
right.
or Ice Cream Man. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just, it doesn't cost anything for them to sign up an account and just check out the catalog. And I always tell them, if there's nothing here that you really want yet, you have the account open. So what if something pops up soon? You know, what if a publisher pops up that you're like, oh, I do want that. Now you already have the account. You can order, you know?
I'm seeing a lot of titles that I've never heard of that I'm very, very interested to read.
Again, they're very professional people that you just don't know because they're in the echo chamber and the bubbles of social media and Kickstarter. These people deserve a shot. Some of them have been in Diamond, but they're at the back of the catalog and Diamond has buried them. If you notice, every book gets a full page.
You talked about how shops aren't willing to take a risk. What kind of risks that they think it's not worth going into?
See, and that's the thing. I don't know how big a risk it is to buy a book at their retail discount rate. Just try 2 books. If you know, I don't think it's that much of a risk. And I have friends that own comic shops, and I talk to a lot of shops. And, you know, the ones that signed up agree, but there are some that, I don't know, maybe they're just strictly Marvel DC, or maybe they just don't want to order from different places. It's a lot. I don't know. But Kolchak, by the way, was an old 70s show. It was the X-Files before there was an X-Files. You know, it's cool. And that's Russ Braun, who drew The Boys. That's a cover. So we've got major talent attached to these books. Then they're mine. I mean, Guido Martinez does Night, and issue 7 is going to Kickstarter next month. Tragedy, I mean, I have an Ian Churchill cover, a Kreese Young Sung Lee, who's on all over Marvel and DC now, 181 homage. I've got the Will Spertasio with Alex Sinclair cover, and backgrounds were done because we changed the cover for the new premiere. Backgrounds were done by Kenny Calderon. And then we have the Bill Sienkiewicz cover with Chris Sotomayor covers. Yeah, so again, we may not be well known, but these are well-written professional books with professional people attached. What's the risk? I mean, seriously, what's the risk? I don't see it. And by the way, some stores who order Tragedy, when it arrives October 15th, they're going to get those big names signing at their stores with me. I'm bringing them in. Let's go.
I want to get that Sienkiewicz cover.
Oh, and I want this to be clear. I could have been a jerk and put Philbo Publishing at the top, but I didn't. It's under the alphabetical order of P.
Yep.
I could have been like, it's my distribution, I'm putting my book up. No, I want everybody to shine. We're going to be fixing this graphic and match, but this has a tie-in to action figures that you're going to see when you scroll down, and they're amazing. Look at these action figures. 27 points of articulation. This is my point. There's so much great talent in the indie world that nobody is giving a chance because they're not a big name or they're not already on top. But they're going to be if you give them a chance. These guys are doing phenomenal work. And I'm here to represent and facilitate and get them into stores as best as I can, myself included. I'm a publisher too. I'm just as invested. And we have some other well-known companies that have been around for a long time that are coming on board. AC Comics, who did FemForce in the 80s. I think they're like the 6th Diamond account. They've been around for 40, 50 years. They're joining in. We have a well-known writer of many big titles who also has some of the most popular independent characters ever made. He's jumping on board. And we've got another well-known small independent publisher that's been around for decades coming on board. Someone said to me, wow, you're really not playing around. No, I'm not. Not. This is too much friggin' work to be playing around. This isn't a joke. I want people to start taking indie seriously because you really are missing out on some wonderful stuff. Nobody knew the Ninja Turtle. Look, let's be honest. Kevin Eastman is a wonderful human being. I have the great privilege of knowing him. I'm not best friends with him. I'm not great friends with him. We don't go out to dinner, but when I see him and I say, hey, he's like, how are you doing? He says he's going to do a cover for me at some point. I hope so. But if you looked at that, if that came out now, that Ninja Turtles book, the artwork, do you think anybody would pay it any mind?
No, I really don't actually.
So my point is, it's a great title. It's a great book. It's a great premise. So that's not me knocking the Turtles. It's the opposite. It's saying that people's perception these days is so askewed that they're missing out on great stuff. You're not going to be able to get in there unless you sign up an account as a retailer because it has the discounts.
Oh, okay.
You're missing out because you don't know it. But get to know it. It's a small investment. You buy a book for the store buys at a retail cost. You're a fan. You buy it for $4.99. You read it. You go, oh, this was really good. One of three things is going to happen. Oh my God, this was awesome. I can't wait for the next one. Now you have a new thing to look forward to. Or it wasn't bad. I might stick with it. I might not. We'll see. But it only cost me $5. Or you didn't like it and it only cost you $5. I mean, you piss away more money on cigarettes, alcohol, and Mountain Dew, for Christ's sake, or McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It's a worthwhile investment. Give it a shot.
Yeah, man. Yep. Totally agree with you. And for somebody that only has been into independent comics for the last, probably 2 years now, I'd say, it was the best decision I ever made. I was purely just Marvel. Actually, I was purely just Spider-Man. But then when he joined the Avengers, I was purely Marvel. A little bit of DC, and then I dipped my toes into some other things, and I couldn't believe the stories, the art, everything. These days now, in all honesty, I'm enjoying books that are not done by Marvel and DC so much more than I'm enjoying.
Well, think about it, right? All these people that I'm distributing are writing for the passion of comics. There's no corporate agenda. There's no shareholders telling us what to do. There's no trying to promote movies. There's no social agenda. There's, you know what I'm saying? It's just stories for the sake of stories and passion. And they're trying to come up with exciting, fresh new takes on things. Now, you can't reinvent the wheel. All the stories have basically been done, you know, ever since the Bible. But reinventing the wheel and new ways to use them, like Shaman, like Arcane Syndicate, you know, and people are really enjoying these books because the writing is better and the art is better. And in this day and age, you can get better quality. But people got to be willing to give it a chance. Stop scoffing at these things just because you don't know them, or going, oh, that looks interesting, but I don't know. Take the plunge, man. It's not a big time investment, but the potential of reward is so high.
Yeah, I'm reading New Mutants at the moment, which I'd never read before.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, and I'm loving it so much and enjoying it so much that for the last 2 weeks, I've been saying to myself, man, I've been reading comics for the last, I don't know, year or two now that I just haven't really been enjoying, but I'm reading them because I want to keep up with what's happening in the Marvel Universe or whatever. And, man, I'm telling you, once you start taking a look at what else is out there and you...
Late 70s, early 80s is golden.
I started to realize I haven't been reading comics for a while that I'm excited to continue to go back to. And it's been a while since I felt that way.
And it's funny because if you look at like the animated X-Men 97, everybody loved it. Why? They used Claremont story plots from the 80s. They used Scott Lobdell from the 90s that finish off and answer some of Claremont's open plot threads. People love this, the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. That's like to me, that's like the golden age of storytelling for comics. It's just phenomenal. And think about this for a minute. Most of the people that we are doing this indie publishing are guys like me that are 52 that grew up in that era. That's what we loved. That's what we're putting out. Think about it. Yeah. You know, that's the storytelling you're going to get. At really good quality, character-driven, action-packed. I don't want to see superheroes standing around talking about how I saw a comic. Captain Marvel was talking to Miss Marvel about how guys are creeping in her Facebook DM, hitting on her, and it's disgusting. Who wants to read that? You're in spandex. It's like what's his name said. Ken Watanabe said in Godzilla. Let them fight. But let there be stakes in the fight, which means you got to give a damn about the characters. We all loved Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler and Colossus and Reed Richards and Sue Storm and Ben Grimm. We care about these characters. So that's why they stand the test of time. Well, guess what? There's no rebooting with these indies. There's no starting over with a new team at 12. There's no losing continuity and all of a sudden the character is no longer the same character they were for the last 30, 40 years. None of that happens. You're on the ground floor starting this world with us and you're coming along for the journey. I mean, imagine you could say you were there at the beginning of Action Comics and you started the journey with Superman. Well, now you get to start the journey with Tragedy. You know? It could be exciting, but you got to give it a try. Sorry.
And so far, are you seeing things pick up a little bit with yourself, or is it still plateauing?
Well, that's the thing is, Tragedy was doing $13,000 campaigns, and then Kickstarter the economy went to crap, and then Kickstarter's demographic, I think, changed. I think it's collectibles now less than readers. And I remember I asked people, you know, what are you looking for? And they were all like, we want coins and metal covers and swag and free giveaway. I'm like, well, then you don't want to read a story. But I think the readers are flocking to stores for reading. That's where the demographic is. And that's why I feel if stores take a chance on us, they're going to be very surprised by how many of these indie books start to move off the shelves because people are clamoring. The people that come to these stores are clamoring for good reads. And I hate to say this, Marvel and DC are hit or miss these days. They might have a good title here, an okay title there, and this one's taking a shit in the bed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't have Donny Cates lately doing great things with Venom and Thor, you know, and, you know, maybe you have Scott Snyder still putting out some stuff, but for the most part, is the writing really that good? Is Marvel and DC really the bread and butter it used to be? If they were, the stores wouldn't be struggling. It's time to try something new. The winds of change are here, and you either get the sail up or you float adrift. Let's go. Get on board. It's going to be a great ride. I'm telling you. This is the indie scene.
I think you need to get in touch with the band The Scorpions and see if you can use their song for your
advertisement.
Yeah.
I'll
Winds
whistle.
of change. Yeah. You start off with the Marvel and DC logo and they sort of like disappear like Thanos snaps them. And then all of a sudden, Philbo Publishing.
It's funny because when I announced the distribution in December because I knew that the bankruptcy was coming. And you know what it is? It's the Philbo Distribution logo fading in with fire behind it, and it's the audio of Thanos at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy going, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
I thought you were going to say this is inevitable, like me.
No, I can even send you the video in your chat to check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it.
But I'm very serious about that. Every industry changes, and you've got to move with it, or you're going to lose. You're going to move, and I really think this is indie's time to shine. Because if the mainstream market was really the powerhouse it was, we wouldn't be in the position we are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I'd like to
truth.
see DC. I'd like to see DC sales if Batman and Superman weren't around, and Marvel sales if X-Men and Spider-Man weren't around. Because apart from those, I mean, I know they've got their events, which is, they make a lot of money from as well every year. But there's just not that much that I am absolutely loving. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. If I want to read stuff that I love, I've got to go back.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the proof in the pudding. How many retro books are they putting out now? They're doing the facsimile editions of all these classic stories from the 80s and 90s. It's like they don't want to learn. They recognize X-Men 97 did well with the classic storylines. They recognize that these retro books are doing well, and people like yourself who are coming on board are loving the old 80s, 90s. They're selling the omnibus like crazy of these old collected editions, but they won't put that in the new issues, and they just won't. They won't. I don't understand it, and I don't think the editors are what they used to be. I don't. They're not. There's no bullpen. Like, I would talk to Howard Mackey and he would tell me these awesome stories with Jim Shooter and them in the bullpen. And it was fun. It was camaraderie. And even though it was business, they were big kids just enjoying playing in the sandbox. I don't think it's that anymore. And as far as the absolute and ultimate universes, yeah, they're doing well. And you know what I think part of that is? It's changing up the continuity. I mean, because again, after 2,000 issues of Batman, what else can you write without destroying continuity? I mean, you've already made, changed characters to different sexualities, different races, different genders. You've done the multiverse. You've done all of it. What else can you do? But when you take the absolute and ultimate universes, all the rules are out the window. It could be whatever you want now. And Ultimate is doing well because people were clamoring for Spider-Man to be with Mary Jane again, and Marvel refuses to do that. And here we are with Ultimates. You get the Spider-Man that you can relate to, because they don't know how to write Spider-Man anymore, because he can't be the kid anymore that you relate to that got picked on in school.
They haven't for 20 years.
Yeah. And at the same time, he can't be a bumbling adult that can't get his shit together by 40. It can't. You have to see some progress. And marrying Mary Jane is that sense of progress. I mean, even when they did Superior Spider-Man, which I thought was actually really, really different and good. It sounded stupid at first, but I really liked it. Yeah. After Doc Ock is out and he's back in his body, the genius Peter Parker can't manage the business and he loses the business. It's stupid.
Yeah.
He's a freaking genius. The guy is
Agreed.
brilliant. He created web fluid that can tie up the Hulk for a little while, but he can't manage a business. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm managing a business.
Yeah, that is annoying. I've got to admit that is annoying. And you know what else as well? It's like, why should I care about any relationship, sexual relationship, that's Peter Parker is going to have in the future when you know there is no future? Because you date a woman, you marry a woman, you have kids, and so forth.
Right.
And Peter's done that. And then editorial are like, nah, that's not going to work. So now he's dating new women. And it's like, but what's the point?
Right.
Like,
it's a regression. It's a regression. You don't want to see a hero regress.
Like, why should I care about Peter Parker's love life now when I know that this woman is not going to stick around?
By the way, Byron, with that point, I'll give you an example why I think indie is important too. You'll love indie for the same reason you love these ultimate and absolute universes. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and eventually an end. These indie books are not going to go on for 1,000 issues. They'll probably be 100 to 120 maybe, and move on. But again, there's no rebooting. You start with number 1. It's fresh and it's new. The progression is natural. It's exciting. And then it ends eventually like Y the Last Man, and you enjoyed it. Right?
I think that's one of the...
It's not necessarily true about ongoings. It depends on how long the ongoing's going for. Again, like Invincible. That was an ongoing. Walking Dead was an ongoing. Y the Last Man was an ongoing, but it did have a definitive end. Like Tragedy, I know what the end of Tragedy is going to be. I have stories through 75, 80 issues so far. But like Kirkman, once I don't feel I have anything new to say about that character anymore, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Ongoing is not the problem. It's what the reasons behind the ongoing. It's what you do with it. Are you just looking to milk the cow when it's dead? Or are you looking to tell a story to its completion? And you can use an ongoing to do that. Sorry.
Well, I can't wait until you get to a point that you can start thinking about having Australians, because I know that there is a lot of creators out there that need somebody.
Well, I can take the publishers. I just can't get to the stores yet.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's what I was saying before. After 2,000 issues, how much can you write about him anymore? And then how much can you screw up his villains? I mean, Bane, please, what a missed opportunity, in my opinion, with Bane for what Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan made him. And then the Joker. These people keep thinking they have to top how creepy the Joker is by peeling off his face or doing all this bullshit. I hate to tell you, but the Joker was already creepy. He was a sadistic bastard with a grin. And you didn't have to up it. It's what he does that makes him creepy. It's not the visual. They just don't get the characters anymore. And what else can you write? They come up with an editorial saying, no, you don't write that, write this. Well, this sucks. And the fans are telling you it sucks. So why are you making me write this? None of that going on in these creators. These indie people, the editors, are not telling us what we can write. They're just telling us to fix if there's any plot holes or if there's something missing or something didn't make sense. But no one is controlling us.
Yeah, see, I think what's stuffing it up, at least a contributing factor, is the variant covers, because look at how many variant covers are being sold for Batman latest issue or whatever, but what's the ratio of people that are actually reading it or enjoying it? Or because they've got so many variants these days. Hell, I might buy a Batman latest issue because it's Delotto cover, and that contributes to the sale, saying that people are liking Batman. But are we? Right. Or are we just buying the variant covers?
Right. If it's 134,000 sold, how many of those are someone buying 3 of the same issue because of the cover? Yeah. And that's why they did it. Yeah. And look, I'm going to get shot for this. Image Comics was exciting and it did a lot of great things, but it also did some harmful things that I don't think they intended. For example, Image Comics made these artists celebrities, right? And these were celebrities that turned their back to Marvel and DC and became major competitors. Marvel and DC no longer wants you to like a book because of the writer or artist. They want you to like it for the IP. And they get a lot of people from overseas that you don't know of. They're also cheaper, and they can't come to shows and become superstars. Also, Image created the gimmick world. You know, well, Marvel, well, maybe they didn't create it, but they made Marvel start doing gimmicks because they were getting challenged. Marvel was doing the holofoil card thing and the gatefold open covers because they had to up their game to compete with sales with Image, and Image was doing gimmicks too, issue zeros, and then, you know, this special issue and that. And it became this variant cover, special artist, big name cover artist thing. And it imploded. And then the 2000s come, and we started the same problems all over again. I mean, how many of these online retailer cover guys do we have that are selling, you know, the same issue with different covers? And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because there's a collector's market and they helped keep us alive. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, those people. What I'm saying, the unfortunate unintended consequences were readership took a dive and they left, and collectors took over. Well, collectors are making what not very successful at Kickstarter and crowdfunding, but not comic stores. Comic stores need readers. That's their demographic. They need people coming in the store that want to get that periodical every month, that want to get that graphic novel. And the other thing I think is a major mistake, and people tell me I'm wrong, I wholeheartedly disagree. Stop thinking that floppies are obsolete, that nobody wants ongoing or single issues anymore. Bullshit. They just don't want shitty ones. And because think about it, these publishers, but at least try to do a proper reset. Right. I mean, they tried something new because continuity is getting too convoluted. You can only have so many crises. But, you know, the other thing is, you know, when you're like a lot of the small publishers are struggling, and I disagree with the model personally, but they'll do the 5-issue series, it's over, and then I'll start a whole new different book, 5-issue series. Where's the momentum? Like, you take a snowball and you put it at the top of a hill. If I let it roll 3 feet and it accumulates a little size and then I stop it, it starts to melt again. And now I'm starting over again. With an ongoing, I can create a fan base over time if I can sustain, right? Like, this is how it usually works. Issue 1s usually do well because people want first appearances just in case, the investor, the collector, whatever. Issue 2s take a dive for 2 reasons. The first reason is the way the ordering works in distribution, the stores are forced to order number 2 before 1 has even come out yet. So they're kind of reluctant because they don't know what they're going to sell on that. And the other reason is readers, sometimes they get the number 1 and then they want to see if this book actually picks up traction or if it's going to stick around. So you'll start to see by issue 4 or 5, if the series is good, start to pick up again. And think about it. Something is Children or Ice Cream Man or whatever, even Walking Dead. Nobody heard about them until they're in issue 6, 7, 8, or 9 already. And now you're starting to hear the buzz. So it's not that ongoings aren't sellable. You just got to be able to weather the storm to develop that fan base and get that following. But if you keep doing 5, put it out. What if you read a 5-issue series you really like and you're like, okay, but I don't know if I'm ever going to see this again. I was invested in these characters. Or in 5 issues, how invested can you get in a character? Because the pacing's got to be quick. You got to get to the beginning, and you know that's like trying to get to the 3rd act of a movie with only 60 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't agree. I just don't agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're around. I think a lot of other people are glad that you're around. And let's hope that other people start to realize what Philbo Publishing is doing.
Well, I'm very surprised. Like I said, when Bleeding Cool put me out there today and it listed me with all the major distributors, I was very grateful and happy. And it's really picking up traction. We haven't even launched the first catalog yet. And I'm hoping, obviously, Tragedy does well as well. And Night, the stuff I publish. And I want everybody to succeed. I really do. I'm not into this stepping on necks. If I believe in what I'm doing, what you're doing, successful or not, has no bearing on me.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing better than you, then I'm going to try to pull you along. And if I'm not doing better than you, I'm going to learn what you're doing.
Well, hopefully Sharif can do a review on your omnibus soon, seeing as he's the only one that's got it so far. I know I will when I get it. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for your future.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's already a lot of material out there that the Philbo Publishing has already put out. So if you were able to get your hands on a copy of Volume 1 of the Philbo Omnibus, all of the stuff that has already come out is collected in this. So if you just want to dip your toes in the Philbo world, why not?
Thank you. I appreciate the support, guys. And Byron, all those titles suck. That's why. They're written crappy. The art is sucky.
I'm just looking at these titles and I'm like, what do you mean Iron Man's cancelled and Daredevil's cancelled? Like, that doesn't make sense. You mean the creative team? So there's going to be you're not going to cancel Iron Man and Daredevil.
Well, a lot of times when they cancel them, they're just rebooting it with a new team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so it's all...
The only ones that I like out of all of these titles, by the way, I'll put them, sorry, people that can't see. The only ones that I enjoyed out of these, I've only read maybe 2 or 3 issues of West Coast Avengers. I thought it was okay so far. I liked X Factor. Spectacular Spider-Men was actually fairly good. And Helverine was actually really good too. So the rest I don't know about though.
But again, it's oversaturation of all these characters, right? It's oversaturation. It's just, again, you're going to get into that problem with Batman. How much can you write about Wolverine? Jesus Christ. How many, And then here's the other thing that Marvel did that hurts. How many Spider-Men do you have now? How many Hulks do you have? How many Wolverine variations do you have? It's not original. It's not new. And it's just oversaturating that. Maybe X-23 isn't actually Wolverine, but she's Wolverine. I mean, it's not original, and you just force feeding the same shit. But if you look at, I'll use Tragedy example. Her design doesn't look like anybody else's. It's great, and the character, everybody who reads the book is like, wow, this is really cool. This is great. It's interesting, and it's different, and it's fun, and it's not regurgitated crap. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that everything out there in the mainstream is crap. I'm not a hater. I'm saying that there's too much crap, that they should just streamline things. But they just want, like Disney Plus and everything, they just want to keep, and Star Wars, they just want to keep throwing out everything to see what sticks to the wall, instead of saying, let's focus tighter on more quality stuff. And I think that's what indie is doing right now. They're focusing on more quality things, because these guys can't publish 25 titles, but you may get 5 good ones.
All right, let's wrap it up. There's also too many Wolverine X books, too many Spidey titles. They need to balance every part of the Marvel universe, and then making room for the cosmic stuff post-Imperial. Yeah. All right. Phil, anything else, mate, before we go?
I'm sorry. I know I ramble. But
you say that every time, but you don't.
Oh, I talk a lot. I get in marketing mode.
We would much prefer somebody that talks a lot than me and Sharif having to try and make conversation.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting everything I've been trying to do. I love comics. They helped me through a very, very, very hard childhood, and they kept me, from getting into bad shit. And I think comic books are the greatest entertainment medium in the world, because they don't just give you the visuals of a movie frame, but they give you the literature of a prose book. They give you the fantastical characters. They give you everything: adventure, romance, horror. You can get whatever you want out of comics, and it's easy to just get and pick up and enjoy. I love this medium, and I want to give back to it, and I want to be a successful part of it. And I always want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And for those who are part of the problem, go fuck yourself. And for those who want to be part of the solution, I salute you. And let's do this together, because rising tides raises all ships. And we all love this. And we have to remember what the source material is.
I just need to call Steve and tell him that you told him to go fuck himself. Hang on.
Oh, shit. Remember, it's about the good guys, right? And let's remember that, you know? I mean, I learned my morals from heroes. And whether it's Philbo Publishing or Get Your Meds or Homebrewed Comics or Knuckle Supper Studios or any of these guys that you may not have heard of that I'll be distributing, or Zenescope, they're great guys and they do great work, or Antarctic Press, if you like the bigger names, tell your comic stores it's a low risk with possible high reward. Just sign up a distribution account with Philbo Distribution and give the catalog a try. Try a couple of books, just a couple. You know, it's a small risk, but the world is changing and people want to read new and interesting stuff. And this is where it's at. That's it.
Yeah.
Well said.
And now we're going to have a word from our sponsor, Comic Book-a-Roo, and when we come back, Phil is going to answer the most important question of the whole show.
Comic Book-a-Roo, proud sponsors of Aussieverse for all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order every Sunday at Comic Book-a-Roo.
Phil, what is Aussieverse?
For life.
Yeah, brother, there we go. Thank you very much to Phil for joining us once again and reaching out to Aussieverse and being on the show. He is now definitely, after coming on, 4 times now, a part of the extended family. Let's all give a massive round of applause to what Philbo Publishing has been contributing to the comic world, what they plan to do in the future, and what they are doing for our collections. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, this has been Aussieverse. We will catch you soon. Next Wednesday, FOC is back, baby. And we also have a couple of other people coming. We have the wrestling pay-per-views also next week. And Sharif is going to do something on his own. Aren't you, Sharif? Yes, he is. Okay. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Aussieverse is
For life. Thanks, guys.